beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. Thank you so much for being here. This episode, as always, has been so divinely inspired. In fact, you know me, I do not share unless it's something potent, unless it's a profound wisdom droplet, unless it's something that I have embodied and has totally changed my life. And this is definitely what this episode is for me. Today, I want to talk to you about aligned bravery, and that, people are really being initiated right now. People are really being asked to lean the fuck in, and it's your choice. You can answer the call or you can lean out. You can keep perpetuating the same reality, or you can choose the divine unknown, scared as shit, shaking in your boots, and lean in. This is what the energy of aligned bravery requires. And I want to tell you a few cool stories today that, people, my friends, people in my sphere have been tapped on the shoulder. They've been asked to answer the call of aligned bravery. They have leaned in and they have been rewarded. And I am going through this personally myself. And this is why this is a theme. And therefore, this is why I am bringing this to you today. The universe always rewards aligned bravery. I want you to sit in that statement for a second. Before I tell you the story, I want you to sit in that statement. The universe rewards aligned bravery. How is that speaking to you right now? Is there a reason you're hearing that? Are you allowing yourself to see what this reason is? Are you allowing yourself to acknowledge the reason you're being asked to answer the aligned brave call? A lot of people are being asked. A lot of people are being required to lean in. So you get to choose to build this muscle of deciding, or you can choose to lean back out. And if you lean back out, you're going to keep perpetuating the same reality, the same lack of clients, the same lack of money, the same drips and drabs. So I am asking you to lean the fuck in. Now, I have been through my own initiation process in a few different ways, one of which I'll talk about today. The other, I'm going to leave for a different episode. And I think there's just more awarenesses to be had with regards to this other situation I'm going through. But it's the coolest, most expansive initiation. And I am choosing it because I am leaning into aligned bravery. And what aligned bravery is it's choosing the unknown, scared as shit, shaking in your boots, but you're doing it anyway because you know it's aligned. You can feel the density of keeping this old situation. And so you're going to choose something that you have no idea what it looks like on the other side because it's your soul's calling. And this, my friend, is always rewarded. The universe will always reward aligned bravery. So I was having this conversation with my amazing friend, and she's going through a lot of changes in her business and a lot of changes, just everything happening around her in the really, really cool, most expansive way. And, she was thinking about giving up one of her income streams that has just been this steady source of income throughout everything she's developed and throughout everything she's gone through. And she's just like, I'm not enjoying it. There's something about it that feels so heavy. However, as I go through this rebirth of this new business, this old part of this business is a steady stream of income. This is my security. This is my certainty. There's just something within me that finds it so hard to let that go. And for me, alignment I talk about this in the quantum coach certification. I have a whole module on alignment. Alignment is black or white. It is a yes or no. And I explained to my friend that, we know what it feels like when it comes to alignment. We know what it feels like for it to be a hell yes. You don't think twice. You just feel it. Your body just leans into it. You leap forward. It's a hell yes. And we also know what it's like to be in these no's. It feels so heavy. Our body constricts. We lean back. We're being pulled back. And I said to her, where we get held up the most, where our energy gets clogged the most is in the maybes. And this is more dangerous than no's because it's energy we just tolerate. And the energy that we just tolerate keeps our whole reality on the fence. And the moment you release a maybe in your reality, you were propelled forward like a rocket ship. Those words just resonated and rippled through her whole being and literally was kind of the thing that initiated her to decide to let that income stream go. It was a massive thing for her. She was scared. She was shaking in her boots. She was like, I can't believe I'm doing this, feeling so emotionally raw because this is what aligned bravery is. It's being scared as shit. It's being riddled in fear, but it's knowing what feels expansive to your soul and choosing it boldly. So she chose to release this stream of income. It was when releasing this stream of income was releasing a level of certainty that she was going to be looked after financially. So of course that requires so much bravery. It's so funny. So she did that. She made that decision and she messaged me a day later. I think she made the announcement. I saw it on social media and then messaged me a day, maybe at the very latest 2 days later. And she goes, Sarah, you will never guess what happened. And here I am kind of internally giggling. I was like, please do tell. And she said, you wouldn't have known this, but my husband and I have been trying to sell this house we've had overseas for 2 years. 2 years of frustration, heartache, being annoyed, having, something maybe going through and then it being shut down. And it has been this source of so much frustration that she said, I can't even look at it. I can't even hear about it anymore. It's just too much. It's too much frustration. And, it's a house. So if you sell a house, it's an awesome sum of money. And so she said, you wouldn't have known that was happening in the background. But she said, literally a day after I made my decision to release this level of financial certainty because of alignment, because of my divine knowing there was something better for me, we just out of the blue get an email that there's a buyer for the house and it's going to go through with so much ease because this buyer is just loaded with money and it's going to be effortless. There's literally no red flags within this whole process. And this is going to be a really big lump sum of money that's going to really help our situation in powerful ways. I was like, my friend, the universe always rewards that bravery, always rewards bravery. So I am asking you, what is a maybe in your reality right now? What is keeping you perpetuating this cycle of monotony, frustration, density that you tolerate? You're choosing to tolerate. You're choosing to hold on to it. And I know how triggering it must be to hear that, but please know there is always a choice. You need to be able to look the thing in the face that you feel is holding you back from releasing the maybe energy. What is that? It is the unknown. It is the inability to see what's on the other side of an aligned, brave decision. I, hand on heart, promise, when you choose aligned bravery, every time the universe will meet you there and reward you beyond what you ever thought was possible. So let's take a step back and look at why this might feel hard for you. Let's acknowledge the density. Let's acknowledge the resistance. Let's look it in the eye and call it out and see it for what it is. Because when you call it out, actually the hold that it has on you will start to loosen its grips. So firstly, number one, you don't see a way out. You truly deeply feel that there is no choice. But I'm here to tell you in every situation, there is always something that you are choosing. something that you can choose, something that you get to choose. No matter what, there is always something to be chosen in any situation. And what it can look like is this. I'm in a situation, I don't see my way out of it. I don't like my job. I don't like my partner or whatever, but I can't just quit. I can't just quit my job. Okay, fair enough. I'd never, ever, ever recommend anyone quitting their job or, giving up all their income, etc. if that's going to propel you into a place of extreme scarcity. That's even a harder hole to dig yourself out of. But here is the choice in those moments. The choice is every day, every morning, I make my frequency and my mindset an absolute non-negotiable, knowing that that is the thing that shifts my whole reality. That is a choice. You are choosing to do that or not to do that. Every day, a non-negotiable. I choose to exercise and make my body feel vital and healthy because I know that helps shift my mindset. And I know if my mindset shifts, my energy shifts. And I know if my energy shifts, my reality shifts. There is always a choice. If you feel there isn't a choice, it's because you're too plugged into physicality. You are living by physical and human laws only. You have cut off the biggest part of you, which is frequency. And you have also cut yourself off from any hope or any possibility. There is always a choice. So please release the whole idea that you're not in choice. You are in choice. You are in choice. There's always a tiny little thing that can be made, a tiny little decision that can be one beautiful little step forward that you choose. We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
My time in the QBA was incredibly expansive, very rich and rewarding, and I can't thank Sarah Tynan enough for her wonderful guidance, support and belief, and sometimes when I didn't have that belief in myself, and the wonderful people in the group. It was really life-changing and a very rewarding experience. So yeah, just expansive and big and bold and brave. It was wonderful.
If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. So once you transcend the illusion that you are not in choice, the next thing to transcend is going to be the unknown. And this is a hard one, right? Because this is one of the reasons, again, why we keep choosing maybe, why we keep choosing monotony. It's because it's safe. It's because it's what the ego knows. So when you're in this place of tolerating, this energy of you tolerating a situation, the trade-off is your safety and security and your certainty. So you're like, I get safety, I get certainty, I get security. So guess what? I'm just going to tolerate all this. And this is what keeps you perpetuating monotony. This is what keeps perpetuating the same distortions, the same things that come up over and over and over again. It's because you're choosing safety and certainty over the unknown. Now let's talk about the unknown, because most people don't want to look it in the eye. Most people don't want to transcend it. They don't want to lean in. They lean in maybe just a little bit and they pull themselves back out because it's scary. This is why it's called aligned bravery, because it requires you to be brave, shaking in your boots, leaning in, not being able to see the wood for the trees or what's on the other side of it, but you freaking choose it anyway. It requires you to be initiated into bravery. And again, it's your choice whether you take that initiation and you answer the call or not, or you bow out and step back and lean back into the old and to the known, which will keep you experiencing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I promise you, there is not one entrepreneur who is wildly successful, making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, who has not been asked to be and make aligned, brave decisions. There's not one entrepreneur out there who's never been initiated into bravery. I promise you that. So if you keep bowing out, but wanting more and wanting new and wanting bigger and wanting better, then you gotta freaking lean in. You gotta allow yourself to be initiated. You gotta say yes, shaking in your boots, scared shitless. So this is, my friend, what's called transcending the unknown. And here is what has helped me stay centered amongst the craziest decisions. And this is my divine knowing. And divine knowing is that, if you understood how energy works, if you understood how the quantum works, then you would know, if you could see your vision, if you can truly feel it, if you have a knowing that it is there, it's because that reality is done. And so when you are on the edge of the abyss and you are being asked to jump in, what will be your tightrope? What will be your safety net will be your divine knowing. That if you're being asked to jump in something that you have no idea what's on the other side, know that it's your vision. It's your dreams. It's all of the things that you've been asking for. But the universe is going to try to initiate you first. And so it's up to you. Are you going to lean in? Or are you going to go back into maybe land and be like, no, I'll just tolerate this because it's certain, it's secure, and it's what I know. Aligned bravery, my friend, is the key. Now, you would have heard my stories around my first initiation, and it was the first time I made a big investment in a mentor. And I know some of you are going, okay, Sarah, we know this story, but also some of you are very new to me. I want you to know that I have been initiated and I do answer the call. I am speaking from embodiment. My soul was asking me to pay $33,000 to my first mentor when COVID first hit. My husband, who's a musician, lost all of his gigs, so he lost his source of income. I was working one-on-one as an in-person practitioner, so I lost the majority of my income. And I say majority because I was working online to some extent. And, we just also bought a new house. So yeah, talk about divine uncertainty, not only with COVID and everything that was happening, but also financially losing a source of income, but also being asked to lean in and furthermore, getting a tap on the shoulder by my soul to invest $33,000 in a mentor. So what did I do? I freaking leaned in. And by the way, guys, there was so much on the line. We have another house in a different town, and both of those houses were linked by a bridging loan. So if we defaulted on one, we lost both. So was I shaking in my boots and shit scared, but was I also being called to step in, lean in, require more, ask for more, be more? Yeah, I was. And I answered the call. And it is the reason why you are listening to me now. Guess what happened? I took on that mentor in the middle of the most heightened time of uncertainty that we as a generation have ever experienced. I was asked to step forward, to lean in, to choose aligned bravery. And I did. I chose it. And on the other side of that was a organic 6-figure launch that felt like an absolute and total fluke. And then 6 months later, I did the same thing again. I had 2 6-figure launches. I was a new entrepreneur. I was new to this whole realm, and my bravery was rewarded. I chose alignment every single time, but not from a place of scarcity. When I launched my business, it wasn't from a place of, oh my God, we need the money. It was from a place of wholeness. It was from a place of being fully soul led and wanting to serve and knowing that I had something to offer and something that could truly and deeply change people's lives. That was the energy that initiated me and the energy that I allowed myself to be led by. And when the universe came through, I continuously and relentlessly answered the call to that. I will never not be led by that energy, even if it requires aligned bravery. And like I said, I'm being initiated right now as we speak in that as well. I'm scared. I have no idea what the future looks like, except for the fact that it feels good. It feels expansive. It feels aligned. It is the unknown. It is a vast abyss, but I'm going to choose it because I do not tolerate maybe energy. I do not tolerate monotony. I am choosing big things in my reality, and I'm going to freaking answer the call. And if you're listening to this, then there's something in you wanting you to answer a call as well. What is it? What is it? Lean into it. Allow yourself to see these awarenesses and then allow yourself to choose, because there's always a choice. The universe will always reward aligned bravery, beautiful soul. I promise you that. I am here if there is anything you need. Know that you're not in this alone. We are here as a collective, and it's really cool how the universe just wants to expand. That is its divine, primal instinct. And remember, the universe is you inversed. And so if you're not allowing yourself to expand, you are literally working against the primal forces of the universe. If you are allowing yourself to be in monotony, to be in maybe, to be in just stuck energy, you are literally fighting against the primal forces of the universe. So choose, lean in, be scared, be shaken in your boots. But aligned bravery will always be rewarded without a shadow of a doubt, full stop, period, every single time. I'm going to leave you with this. I love you. I honor you. I see you. I hold you. I get it too. I really do. I get it. I know the feelings. I know the gut wrenching knowings of, I know I need to make a decision, and I know everything's about to change, and I'm ready. So now it's your turn to lean the fuck in. Jump off the cliff, build your wings on the way down, and prepare yourself for all the miracles that will unfold. Thank you for listening, beautiful soul. I will see you on the next episode. Until next time, choose aligned bravery. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.